Hello, I'm back with another Disabled Artist Foundation kit. This one, I haven't really given it a name. I call it my Snippitt topiary. My intentions are to take it and I put it on a skewer. Mostly I did this because it's easier to handle, especially if you get going on it for a while. And this is all just poked in there. There's no glue. And I have played with it and chased my doggies with it. And everything has stayed real well. But it is packed in there tight enough that you can pull pieces out. If you're working on something and you need just this little snippet of lace, well, you could reach in here and say, now let's hope this doesn't all fall apart. Because I've did this a few times. Okay, this little piece of lace is just perfect for something. I'm going to pull it out, give a little fluff. You'll never know where it was. So then you can use this little piece. You might have to press it or hold it until it's good and unwrinkled. So I am going to show you the kit. And I had to go run and get those. I've had this one done for a while, so I wasn't really sure where it was. But I found it, so we're all lucky here. Let me zoom out a little bit. I tend to work close to my body, and my body's not really in the frame here. So, okay, so in your kit, you have a styrofoam ball. And this kit came by, again, from some lovely donations. We had quite a few styrofoam balls, and it's like, I love the challenge of finding a new kit for the artist that is something different, not doing the normal. And so a lot of people send me things that are donations, and I am really challenged with some of them. I have 3 or 4 things in there for the next time I mail out that are some pretty challenging. Now they all come with some chunks of fabric, lace, there's a little bit of silk, just an assortment. There's always going to be something fun and sparkly and you know, little pieces of lace and ribbons. And there no one or two are the same. And so you got your materials, and there may be enough and there may not be enough. It depends upon how tight you pack it or how loose you pack it. But you can always add to it. You can use the scraps for something else and use different scraps for your topiary ball. There will be also in there a few pearl head pins and some buttons. I stayed with white, so that would go with any color scheme you had. I don't have a lot of buttons in here, but I had a few pieces that I just wanted to put in. I don't know if you can see that. I used the pearl pins to hold the buttons in. And I just did a few because, you know, I thought it was cool. So I am going to use this really beat up egg. It's really misshapen because I saved all the beautiful balls for the kit. So I'm just going to take some of my lace here. And I didn't cut tiny pieces or anything for myself. And I'm having to hold my scissors kind of funny because I don't know what I've done to the inside of my thumb here. But let me tell you, it's been a little bit finicky lately. So I'm just going to cut them in. I'm not going to cut them in any certain size or anything. And I think I'm going to put some of this little pretty turquoise in. And you may find that, you know, depending upon the size of your ball and how far you poke it in and all that, you may not need it real wide. One thing I did, and I guess I could show you on this one too, is a piece, well, let's do this one here. Like indecisiveness here. When you have a gathered piece like this, or most of these are flat. But if you have a piece of gathered lace and you don't want to mess with the bulk of that, just cut it off. Because, you know, it doesn't really matter if your lace is uneven or what, because if you were going to use it for a cluster, you don't want it perfect anyway. So that being said, let's just get us a few little things here, a few little snippets, so we can kind of just get after it and go. And like I said, you can fill this as much as you want or as little as you want. Make them as big as you want, as little as you want. Okay, when I did this originally in my sample here, I did earthy or whites, naturals. I threw in a little peach just because, and I used a stylus. That's one of those little, some people score with them, they make dots with them. I'm not good at scoring with these because I tend to poke them right through the paper. So all you're going to do is you're going to put your piece on there and push it in. Now that one didn't work. And sometimes they won't work when they're real fine. So I just folded it over and pushed it in that way. And you want to put these, and I'm going to go to the bigger end here because of the loose weave. And this one may be one of those that has to go in with a button. But we're going to try. And you get it up there where you think you want it. If that doesn't work, try something else. That's too big. This is a pointy tool and all, and I don't think it's going to work either. But sometimes I find myself going at a side to kind of get it to tuck in. There we go. Another thing that I thought of for those that just didn't have the tool that was working correctly for them is you could do toothpicks, you could do shish kebab skewers. Those might all be things that you have. You could use a pencil, but you will probably leave marks on it, so that might not be a really good idea. But most of us have a paintbrush, and when you use paintbrush, you use this end here, right? And you hold it here or even here. But if you took it and put it in your pencil sharpener, you have a nice point on your paintbrush, and that should do pretty good for poking in. And that's all you do. You just go around it. You tuck them, you wad them, you scrunch them together, however you want to do it. And you know, there's nothing that says you can't put a drop of glue on some of these if they're not staying the way you want. That's just fine. Now this one's gathered, so it might be a little more difficult, but then again, it could be perfect because it's got that thickness. And so far, this is my favorite tool. And even if you dull it off, you know, you can just put it in your pencil sharpener and sharpen it away. And when you're all done, if you're tired, you don't want to, you know, have a dangerously pointy, sharp thing around, then just take a piece of sandpaper, an emery board, and just sand it down until it's not so boy, that word is tough for me. Pokey. Got to have a little gold in here. And I'm going to try a little piece of this cotton. It's kind of a tie-dyed cotton. Excuse me. And yeah, I'm really liking this. I wish I have to be honest with you. I was looking for tools that you might have on hand without having, you know, a stylus or a pokey tool, you know, things you just might have at home. And I just looked up and I thought, oh, I wonder how many of my paintbrushes would work. And I was like, I'll just sharpen it. So I did. And I was really, really excited how that turned out. It's been really, really good. So you might want to set a bunch of snippets out and just get them all cut up and go from there. You might want to, I'm going to try this yarn. I did not put yarn in there, but I think this is cool. And it's really thick and bulky. And like I said, anything can go in here. You know, if you had a really cool handmade paper, oh yeah, that's going to go in there. So that'll be a nice little fuzzy accent. And let's put this in there. And you may find that you need to get in and make something, you know, fill it in just a little bit more. But I like to take them up after I've put them in and then put the next piece in. so that way they really are filling it up. So this one took me several hours. We're not going to fill this all in, but you get the concept. You just keep going. After you get a little bit full, you may find that you want to take something and stick it here and hold it and do it this way, because you have all that bulk on there, and it's just kind of awkward, you know. You don't want to mess anything up. You don't want to knock things out. But that's all there is to this. It's just poking things in. And like I said, if you feel better about the security of it and how it, you know, stays, you could easily put some glue in it. Now see, as I'm going along, I don't know if you can tell, there's kind of an emptier space right here. I can see, you can hear the styrofoam. This might be a good place for a button down the road if I don't put something else in it. And just about anything will work. I mean, I really liked how this cotton fabric, so most of these kits have quite a bit of little fabric with them. And so I think that would be really fun. I think I'd like to see my next one be all fabric. I think that would be really cool, especially with, you know, if you use all different colors. Oh yeah, even that one's going in pretty good. So I just picked colors. I mean, you know, from any of you that watch my videos, you know I just do colors. And I don't really have a rhyme or reason. And it almost always works out. And if it doesn't, that's okay, because it's mine. It's not there to please everybody. And that's what art should be. Whatever it is that makes you smile. Whatever makes you happy. And a few short ones in there, even if it's not even, if you look, that one is wanting to come out. So let's just give it a little shove real quick. This ball is really tucked in. I'd like to see what it looked like if you took them all out, because I think it would be really Swiss cheesy. But if you look, as I go around, it's not even. And I like that. But you could easily take your scissors and kind of shape it and give it a haircut, especially if you're going to use it as is. I was thinking, if I didn't put it on this as a shish kebab, I was thinking that why couldn't I, and if you wanted to do this, I would suggest you do this prior to filling your ball, is if you took your ribbon and put it on here like this, and either glue it, let me get some safety or straight pins here. I think I have others close, but this is handy. So you could take and put one in the bottom, just, you know, for safety. Hold it there so it doesn't want to fall around or slip and slide or whatever. And put one right there. And then bring the other side up. And pin that in there. I would probably want to do a little bit of gluing. But you could hang this and have a hanging ball. And I think this would be really cool in my studio to be hanging. And then I can just pull off of it as I wanted to. So anyway, that is this kit. It's real simple, really fun. You don't have to think very hard. This is a really good in front of the TV craft, because you can just poke holes in it. And if your show's getting really good and intense, you might want to be careful that you don't poke all the way through or poke yourself. That being said, I hope you enjoy our little Snippitt topiary, or topiary Snippitt. It's a little different than a normal Snippitt roll, a little different than a normal topiary, but that's okay, because different is good. Thanks for watching.